Hello, everyone. Welcome to Made with Switcher. I'm super excited about this next segment of the series. If you've never heard of Made with Switcher before, it's basically a series where we explore how many of you are using Switcher for your live streaming and production needs. And it's just really cool to see how you guys use this awesome tool. And my name is Asia. If you've never met me before, I work at Switcher Studio. I'm a customer experience specialist. And I also use Switcher Studio to stream on my own live streaming platform, creative endeavors. And it's really cool to be able to connect with our guest today, who is Rachael Green, who is the owner of Rach Green Cocktails, and she is an experienced mixologist and instructor. Say hi to everyone, Rachael.
Hi, everyone. How's it going? Thanks, Asia.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
So excited to have you on. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to hear all the cool tricks and tips you have and tell us a little bit about like drinks that we should be making. Would you mind introducing yourself to us?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, getting right into some drinks.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. So very nice to meet you guys. My name is Rachael Green, virtual experience creator. And since I started streaming cocktail instructional videos live, I always wanted to have a really cool device that I could switch between camera angles like this. Right.
So cool.
So it's a really cool, there was an opportunity to kind of link up with Switcher and to really work with this program intimately. And I've been like super excited about it ever since. Like, I'm like, yes, I'll come on and like do something, talk about it. Like, I was super excited to be here.
That's awesome. Why did you start streaming to begin with, by the way?
Well, out of necessity, honestly.
Yeah.
So I was in the bar and restaurant industry for 10 years. And I got into liquor sales after I was bartending to really explore more of the marketing and branding side of the industry. And I moved from California, where I was a liquor rep, to North Carolina. And I started getting into I like joined my family business, which lasted maybe a couple months. And then I really started to do in-person cocktail classes, which I was doing as a brand rep in California. And so when I started doing them here in North Carolina, actually ABC was like, you aren't really supposed to be doing those. And I was like, oh, okay. Because it's all control. Like, it's a government controlled thing. So there's so many hoops you have to jump through in order to do something like that. And I just didn't really know what I was doing yet. By the time I was starting to really work on some of those details, the entire world shut down. So in March of 2020, I started to just stream live on my Facebook these instructional videos that I was otherwise going to be doing in person, so that people could do something fun together. And people were responding to comments. And the first video I ever did got over 700 views initially. And I was like, this is really fun. And so I started to do the live streaming, and then I started to actually do private events, which is how I built a business around it.
That's so cool.
So
hi, everyone. Yeah, let's take a second to say hi to everyone in the comments. Welcome in. Thanks for joining us. We're just chatting with Rach Green and just hearing about how she uses Switcher Studio to create these awesome cocktail virtual experiences. So I'm really excited to learn more. How did you decide what setup to use?
Like physically or
yeah, anything, whatever comes into your mind.
I'm the type of person that likes to take the hard way to do any and everything. I'm terrible at asking for help. So I'm the type of person that is just like, I'm just going to do it. And then if it sucks, I'll change it. Right. And I'll just, people will be like, oh, I didn't hear the entire time that you did this. Yeah. So this is one of my setups. It's so fun.
So cool.
So I tried so many of the different options for using Switcher. That's my overhead view, which you can see. Yeah, so fun. Playing with decorations and figuring things out. Obviously, some things are a little off center, and it's all about, like, the sooner you can get out of your head of perfectionism and into, like, it's about delivering something truly special, unique, with personality, because I want it delivered this way. Like, I
Right.
think the world needs to see it this way,
Yeah.
and that's how I'm going to deliver it. If something's a little off center, if the audio kind of pops here and there, if, you know, like, you know, those things are distracting, and those things can be changed, but you can't
Right.
change your passion for what you do.
That's a really great perspective on that. With
Yeah.
your like trial and error as you know, use your passion to fuel what you do, what equipment have you found is like the most helpful for what you do?
Yeah, I mean, this switcher setup is like,
Yeah.
it makes my life so much easier.
That's
Like,
awesome.
so what I was working with initially was a webcam from $100 Dell computer that I purchased off Facebook Marketplace.
Mhm.
And I was using that, and that was working out okay. But I wanted higher quality audio. I wanted higher quality image. And so I went and I purchased like a Canon M50, and I was having like issues with like this, like, you know, capture cards and HDMI ports, and I would have to actually get them frequently because they would, you know, crap out on you and
Mhm.
all those things. So when I came about using this switcher program, it was so simple, and I was like, wait, I can just set up my iOS device to my Dell computer, which it obviously is working, and I can use my phone on to do this and come
So
in and
cool.
out of frame, which is seamless because sometimes switching from like two hard angles can be very like shocking to the eyes. So having something that flows, that's really awesome. Being able to do, you know, these recipe cards so that people can follow along a lot easier. It just makes it so much nicer. Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm having fun here. Sorry about this.
You're having a lot of fun. I love it. It's great.
I know. Like using all the things. I also I've used this feature quite a bit
Hmm.
for different events. Um, if they have like some sort of like trigger word during events, there I'm doing like live events for a client,
Mhm.
and that's worked really really cool because it's just like a by the way, and it's so appealing and attractive, and there's just
Yeah.
so much that you can do with this. Even like the intro to this stream,
Yeah,
like, we
that's
were
so
just mind
awesome.
blown.
So cool.
I know. I was like, I
Yeah,
need
that's
that.
awesome. That's so great. Yeah, how have you like I guess as you've been like exploring all these different features and tools you can use in Switcher, how does that help you create sorry, this is probably like a not like clear question, but like how does it help you create like a really special event from client to client or event to event? Like I would just like want to know, like would love to hear your thought process of like how do you curate and like create your experiences virtually.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. So, um, oh man, how's my battery dying on my computer? Hold on.
You're good.
So, ultimately, oh no, give me 1 second.
You're okay. No
Pull this
worries.
up.
No worries. I'm really excited to be on this little event with Rach Green because I too do content creation and I use Switcher for my live streams, and just like I just really identify with everything she's saying because um you know, anyone can, well, maybe not anyone, but people can point a camera and like stream something and it's like pretty flat, pretty basic, and you know that's where that doesn't discount the passion that drives that person to just like have one camera on their thing. But it's really cool to be able to use Switcher and other tools to like really create um, this experience that is what like what you said, like it's what you want the world to see, like from your perspective. So it's really cool to hear. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's super interesting. And like I said, like not everything is perfect, but the cool thing is just being able to like tap in and making it part of your show. You know,
Yeah.
when there is things like a computer is dying, and
Mhm.
unfortunately, when my computer tells me it's dying, I have literally 15 seconds to figure it out before it like
Oh my
completely
gosh.
shuts off. So yeah.
You get a gold medal for
But
that then. That was impressive.
yeah, it's good. We're good. So the different ways that I like to use different branding elements really comes down to how many devices are you using. I'm using my computer, an iPad, and an iPhone.
It's very
So
cool.
three.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like a very approachable setup. I love that.
Oh, actually, and I use this. Ooh, hold on. I use this number deck. I'm like a little like
Oh,
thing.
nice. That's really
So
cool.
this is what I do. Like, so we're in camera angle 1,
Uh-huh.
and then camera angle 2. When I press 2,
Oh, that's
I
very
pop down
cool.
here, and then I pop up, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take this off for right now. But yeah, so that's how I come down, go back up. So that's a
Very
really
cool.
cool, yeah,
Yeah, we got
how I
Claire
have that
asking.
set up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I can just
Show
like
us your
maybe pop
ways.
this.
Oh,
It's a
very
really
cool.
long arm.
Mm-hmm. Like
Let's
a
see if it's
gooseneck
still.
mount thing.
Yeah, 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 and it works out like pretty good most of the time.
That's awesome.
And honestly, the way that I had it first set up is I had like some boxes, and I put it on a high top chair in front of my like kitchen island, and I had it facing my like refrigerator and like the island and like everything, and I was
Mm-hmm.
super far away from the camera.
Yeah.
And I don't even have footage from the back. That actually I do like all the way back, but like this is all with switcher, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I was super far away from the camera. You couldn't really hear me. It was very echoey. And now it just, you guys tell me.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
We've been talking a lot about like physical setup or software setup, but what do you do to like make sure you're communicating your personality with your audience and that you're like really connecting with them on like a human to human level?
This is my favorite. Engagement and entertainment is like literally everything I stand for. Like I was gonna say, like I do like different things like these little components for branding. So I like to tie in those things. Like I was saying, like this was one of the trigger words.
That's cool. I like that.
So I always like to ask people that are running events what their run of show is, how they plan on acting in certain levels of engagement, and if there's anything I can do as far as strategy or things of that nature to help them with that. So you like for me, I always try to engage people immediately off the bat with music and hi, and where are you tuning in from? And granted, I always ask the host like, is everyone in New Jersey or is everyone all over the world or all over the country, right? So
it's good to be prepared
like,
when you start that.
Yeah. And that takes time and experience, right? Like at this point I've done over 130 virtual events since March of 2020.
That's amazing.
And thanks. And that doesn't count streams and podcast interviews and all those different things. Those are paid for events that I've worked, and I get and I didn't ask the right questions initially, but that didn't stop the flow and growth of my business. I chose to accept sometimes I'm going to fail and sometimes I thought I could deliver, but new factors came into play and it's not easy, but the best thing to do is just to communicate as early as possible and try to figure it out. And sometimes clients, they don't understand and sometimes they do. Most of the time they do though, which is awesome, especially if you're very honest. So integrity is a very important part of my business and what I do.
Yeah.
But engagement is really, really important. And it's what I derive everything off of. Because people have asked me like, oh, do you do fire and flare and stuff? And I'm like, no, I'm just really weird.
I identify with you. Weird people unite,
Yeah.
How do you maintain like the upbeat like energy throughout an entire like virtual event or a live stream or whatever it is that you're doing? Because I definitely can feel for myself and others out there that like they want that positive energy, but like how do you sustain that through an entire event? Because that can be a long time depending on what you're doing.
I think it really just comes down to like I'm quite a bit of an ambivert. One of the reasons why I work from home.
Same.
I can literally stay at home.
Just like vibing for like you. This is great.
We definitely do vibe. Yeah, I think like I can spend an entire week at home, and as soon as I hop behind a bar or hop on like an interview or hop on a call or hop on an event, like I just turn on. Like that's
awesome.
I love interacting with people, and I don't know. It's always been since I was a kid. I was like a theater kid pretty much. So
that's so cool.
Just like it's easy for me to like become activated because absolutely are there times where like it's 5 minutes before an event and I'm like, are we going to do this today? Like, can we do this today? Like,
gotta hype yourself up for it. Yeah.
Yeah, December was crazy because I did 30 events in December, and I'm a solopreneur. Like, I run this whole ship myself, and
so cool.
it was a lot. And there was moments where I was like, "Are we going to do this?" But as soon as I pop on camera, like, I'm just the happiest person ever. So
that's awesome.
It really depends on like how you feel about it. But there are definitely a couple of things people can do. Like that's a character thing, right? But
yeah,
there are things that you can do to amp yourself up. Actually, I have probably 10, but I'm going to give you 3. First is to drink a warm glass of water before you go on camera. That'll help warm up your vocal cords. And you can do some scales like E-U-I-E-U-I-E-U-I-E-U-I-E-U, right? And you can find like little like breaks in your voice. And so you can work through those by doing scales, and you can look those up on YouTube or different things. And then do something like, obviously be prepared, right? Be prepared, but like you're going for a test, right? You're like, if you've been studying for a test, the last thing you want to do before you test is cram, right?
Right.
So the best thing to do before you go and do an event, set up or live stream, whatever you're doing, set up, have it done like by an hour or even the day before if possible. And then just go enjoy yourself. Do something that makes you truly happy, whether that is going for a walk, calling your friend or a family member, playing guitar, drawing, journaling, listening to music. I love listening to like rap music.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Just
that's great.
To really pump it up. It's like those things, like you get to learn about yourself, and then you get to apply them before you go onto camera. And those have been the most helpful tips for me.
That's super helpful.
Probably the pump up jams.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, I agree with that. I always like play music right before streaming just to kind of like and dance around, like just be silly and just like loosen up. But I like those tips that you gave because it just helps reminds you that content creation and specifically like, streaming when it's like live, you're not producing it like in your own time, however you want to. It just like takes so much energy. So it's really good to have sustainable like practices that you do to keep yourself like going for longer than just like doing one stream. So that's really cool.
Yeah, you have to remember that your body, your mind, your voice, your creativity, they're all machines, right? They're all machines. And if you overwork your creativity or sometimes you can get into flow, right? Which is good.
Yeah.
But like, you have to remember that like these things are like muscles and organs, and like, you have to take care of like your vessel in order to do well,
That's so cool. Thank you so much for those tips. We do have some questions that we'd like to.
Yeah, I think I saw some. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So Ewan Smith asked, Bluetooth keypad, is that so you don't get the ingredients on your iPad?
So the iPad is actually the main, it's the main camera, and it's also the device that I use as the actual switcher board. So it's a lot easier for me to use. The phone I never touch. The Bluetooth keyboard, it just goes between the two angles. So I like it because it can stay completely out of frame, right? Like you can't see this at all. So people are like, who's controlling? Like no one can even tell I'm doing anything. So people are like, it's magic, right? And anytime that you get someone like that is watching to believe that there's magic happening that they don't understand, it's always a good thing. So, and the keypad is like $12 on Amazon. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's you can just find those.
I might have to steal that tip.
And you
really
hook
cool.
it. Yeah, Clay. Thanks, Clay.
Clay. You love Clay.
Yeah, we love Clay. So Clay was like, yeah, you just link it to whatever device is your actual, what is that? The
like switching device?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, switching device. Thanks. I'm the creative. I'm like, there are things
words escape me. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just, whatever you're using as your main switcher, that's where you connect the Bluetooth to, and that'll really work well for you.
Cool.
And that'll make it so that it's seamless and you don't have to think about it. Like you're just literally like do, and like you just switch back and forth, and you can have a continuous thought. Like before it was like not possible.
Right.
It's not possible at all. Like I would have to be like, okay, and now I'm going to go into Zoom or whatever and like do this whole thing.
Right. That's so cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. All right, we
Thanks. Great
got
question.
another one. Yeah, very great question. Thank you, Ewan, for sharing. Leanne Laban, if I'm saying that correctly, first of all, said great input in context about
Thanks.
what you were saying about upbeat, staying energetic. How long are your shows?
So that's a really great question. So depending on how the run of show that my clients are looking for, I always like to ask them how much time they want my segment to be, because sometimes it's a standalone segment and where I'm doing, like, I have a Mardi Gras event coming up on March 1st.
So cool.
And
So
I'm doing 2 cocktails. Yeah, a hurricane and a Sazerac.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to be making Mardi Gras masks. Or decorating masks for Mardi Gras. And that's going to be probably an hour to an hour and 15 minutes because it's like literally my show. Right. So when I'm talking to clients, sometimes I'll do like just one cocktail and they'll be like, can you keep it within 5 to 7 minutes or can you drag it out to 25? And the answer is always yes.
Cool.
So anywhere between, I would say 7 to 8 being the smallest amount for a single cocktail, which you guys might get a chance to see here in a second, to 90 minutes plus where it's just me and the audience and we're chatting and we're doing things and so
that's awesome.
Depends. Yeah.
I had another question. You did such a great job by recovering with the battery earlier. So smooth. Any advice for people who that does not come naturally to? I love this question so much.
We're human, and people, like, even someone that has a full setup, like, makes mistakes. So my piece of advice, if you are someone that gets really like not okay under that level of pressure, is to create a checklist always of your consistent setup and your variable setup and your run of show and flow and any sort of like key notes, right? If there's something that you cannot not say, like it has to be said during that live cast or something like that, a point that has to be made, make sure that you have those key points close to your camera, but not like on top of your camera. Like you can put them like right here, but on the thing. And that way it looks like you're looking at the camera, but you're actually,
really good.
You're looking at those notes. I used to actually, if you're streaming from your webcam on your computer, if you're starting with that or something like, I don't know, I actually keep it on the top quarter part of my screen. So like, I guess I can just do like, if you're looking at your computer screen, it's like, like, and I can like keep things there. And my computer is like, that's right here. So I don't know if, like, you can see I dip down, but so that really helps me. But at the end of the day, like, that humility is a really good muscle. Like some of the best comedians and performers out there, they turn mistakes into performance, right? And it makes it variable, right? So it's not monotonous. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen like those runway models and they like trip and fall and then they turn this into like a dance thing. Have you guys ever seen that?
Yes.
So that's what I'm talking about.
It's a great example.
Right? So, like you're like, okay, so what can I take from this moment of like, hey, my computer's about to die and the stream is about to like, I feel like so bad immediately about like, oh, well, like I'm like so unprofessional. Like I could get caught up in my head about those things, or I could turn it into an immediate lesson about, hey, well, guess what, guys? Like not everybody's perfect. Even people who do streams, 130 events plus streams and all sorts of things. Like we forget things sometimes.
Right.
I don't have a checklist, but if I did, that would have been on there. But it definitely helps for people. Like, so I like to always have like a fixed checklist of things that I like to prepare, like from charging my devices, making sure that they're charged to, different things. And I do everything from like 2 weeks out, marketing, whatever, to a week out, 4 days out, 2 days out, the night before, and then the day of. That way, you're all set up for those things, and then leaving space for variable changes. And that'll make you feel a lot more confident.
That's cool. That is very, very helpful advice. Thank you. You had mentioned this like a few minutes ago, but would you want to make a drink for us right now? Is
Oh
that cool?
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I crushed up some ice for you guys. I made some
I love
clear
it.
ice. This is, I don't know. I just got this like ice thing, and I don't know if you can see how clear this is.
Oh wow.
You see? I
That's
know,
so
I'm so excited. So
cool.
I just got this clear ice thing, which maybe I can show you in a second. But so we'll be able to see how quick. I don't know. I'm super excited about it. I just got it. It was like $40. It's not bad, and it makes
That's
10
awesome.
super clear giant ice cubes, which you can make into smaller ice cubes.
Mhm.
But
That's amazing.
But so like around it, it made clear ice and like around this thing, and so I took those and I just chopped them up, and that's what I use them in some of these types of cocktails. All right, so I definitely moved this thing around just a little bit while I was playing and showing you guys. So we're gonna pop down.
Nice.
So we're gonna make one of my favorite cocktails ever. It's actually a caipirinha. It's a cocktail. A friend of mine who's from Brazil. She had this. She made us these caipirinhas with cachaça, and I'd never heard of cachaça before. And it's a rum's-like spirit. It's made from cane syrup or cane sugar. I actually don't have any right now, so I was just gonna use some rum. Let me see what I got over here. I have like
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I have like a whole thing over here. There we go. I have like a whole huge bar. All right, so this is actually a local rum to like Charlotte, North Carolina area, and they make really, really good rum. It's really cool. But I'm gonna play around with that. It's definitely very fragrant. Cachaça is a very fragrant rum. You can use passion fruit juice, or if you're using passion fruit puree, you're gonna use half the amount. The recipe that I have here,
Nice.
Right? So it's going to be 2 ounces of cachaça, 1/4 ounce of passion fruit syrup, which you just double the amount here with juice. And then I actually upped it to doing a teaspoon of sugar and a lime. All right, fun stuff. So, oh my God, look, I'm like tucked in over here.
So cute.
Okay. So cute. So a caipirinha is a really, really easy cocktail. One of the reasons why I said I would be able to do it in like 5 to 7 minutes. There's 2 different ways to cut a lime. You can cut it through the poles and it looks like this, or you can cut it through the equator and it looks like a wheel. It's really pretty looking. But we're going to be actually cutting it this way. You can cut it a couple different ways if you'd like. You can cut it into 6 or 8 pieces. I'm going to cut it into 6, and I'm going to use like 4 or 5 of these. Just go ahead and drop those in. Let's just go ahead and use 5. And then as part of the traditional process, you actually put about a teaspoon of sugar. What that does is that actually is going to help break down some of these, some of the oils on the back of the limes and also the juice. Woo!
Oh.
So you kind of push everything down.
Oh my gosh, I'm like making this right after. I'm so
excited.
excited.
It's so easy. And you can literally do this. So the cool thing, there's another cocktail that this is based off of that is based off of this cocktail, and it's called the Caipirosca, which is pretty much the same thing, but with vodka. So if you have vodka, you can totally use that. You can play around using gin or tequila. I have a really cool recipe that I use on my YouTube that is tequila caipirinha with watermelon and mint. So that one was really fun. So you can kind of see it's
very
like
cool.
We have
Leanne's following you on Instagram right now, by the way.
Oh, fun! You can see like my hilarious post that I like make really stupid reels.
Love. If you guys want to follow her, there's her handle right there.
Thanks, guys. So I'm just gonna do a 1/2 ounce of passion fruit juice because I didn't make passion fruit syrup today, so I just doubled up on that, and then we're gonna go ahead and add our rum. So we're gonna pop back down here. I'm just going to do 2 ounces of rum or cachaça or vodka or whatever you want to do. And we're just going to go ahead and add that in. It's looking pretty good, huh?
Very good.
We're just going to give this a stir. And I like to make sure that all the like sugar has completely dissolved in the juice and the oils of the lime. So I'm just going to give that a nice stir. Oh, coming out of frame here. Okay, cool.
That is the struggle, is the top-down camera putting something out of frame.
Yeah, well, I love to talk, so and then that's like the struggle. So then we're just gonna go ahead and put some ice. I like moderately crushed ice, not like super fine crushed. And the difference is that ice has a certain level of surface, like a certain surface level. So the smaller the ice, the quicker it's going to dilute, which is good for a couple of reasons, but it can also make your cocktail too watered down.
Mm-hmm.
So with this particular one, oh, and this looks beautiful, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this particular one, I wanted to do a mixture of small and big ice, so that the cocktail will stay cold for longer, but it's not going to dilute too quickly.
Oh,
So now we're just going to give this a stir. Bye, guys.
Farewell.
Farewell. So we're just going to give this a stir.
It's so pretty. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, look at this ice too. Oh my god, I'm obsessed. How
It's so cool.
This ice is.
I like the dimension it like gives. So cool. Right? Do you practice making these ahead of time?
So I've been in the industry for a really long time, so I know how a lot of things like work and operate. But this one particularly is one of my favorites. So I just I can make this one on the spot pretty easy, and like depending on what I have. So I'll make edits, and I do that with people on events too. If I'm like, hey, okay, we're making a cocktail with grapefruit juice. Well, do you have like a white grapefruit or do you have a ruby red grapefruit? Because those are going to have different like acidity levels, and depending on what you have, it will determine how much lemon juice you're going to be using for this cocktail. So let's go ahead and try this.
Interesting. Yes. Cheers. I only have coffee, so boring. Cheers.
Well, it's 2 p.m, so
yeah. I mean, but your 2 in the afternoon sounds more fun.
Yeah. So the cool thing about this cocktail is that the actual like oils from the lime create a bitterness. So this kind of tastes somewhere between like a passion fruit daiquiri, and it has the intensity of like an old fashioned.
Oh, I mean, that sounds right up my alley. I'm gonna make this for sure.
Yes, you should. It's good, and it's good with vodka too. Like, who would have thought, right?
That's so cool. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me. This has been so fun. I've been really enjoying our conversation.
Me too. Oh my gosh. I'm just really grateful to just like have this like 30 minutes with you. It's been really, you're like very life-giving. So thank you for that. In addition to like being very informative. So
thanks, man. Yeah, this is great. I love it. And it's definitely always fun to talk to people who are also creatives and to derive inspiration from. When I met you yesterday, I was like, I love your setup. It's so colorful and bright and fun.
Thanks.
I just, like it's important for people that are creatives and entrepreneurs and people that are really pushing through the pavement, making their own vision and dreams happen, to seek refuge, and also like have interesting conversations and ask people what they're doing and what they're using and who they're talking to and how to do books and those weird things that you don't know if you'll ever learn how to do. People learn how to do them, right? So like cool. That's these types of interviews and conversations like really help all of us get better.
Yeah, definitely.
So collaborate on, friends.
Yay. I love it. Well, thanks for being here. Unfortunately, we have to wrap up, but did you have any other like tips or anything you want to share with everyone watching today?
I have a bunch, but if you guys have any questions on, any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram. I was doing like business coaching for a little while, and then I realized I didn't want to charge money for it. So anyone that has any questions about, how to really monetize what you're doing as a streamer, like I'm happy to help and just offer advice and a helping hand. So definitely reach out. I'm here for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Rachel. Everyone, this is Rachael Green of Rach Green Cocktails, and she's awesome. So make sure you follow her on all the things. So we've been having her socials and her website cycle through. So make sure you take note of that and give her a follow. And thank you for watching. So you can follow Switcher Studio for more live streams, and make sure you share your story with #MadeWithSwitcher on social media. Thanks, guys.
And get Switcher.
Get Switcher.
Please. Yay. It's definitely made doing other areas in my business. I could focus on other things because I know that this application really has my back. So as someone who's not paid to say that, like literally, I'm so excited to have this software
encouraging.
in my back pocket. So
thank you.
Very happy.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Bye.